Hey art fans, thanks so much for tuning in today. Good to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'd appreciate that. Sitting here doing some cartoon art, or some cartoon work, I guess you would say. I love to draw. I do it all the time. I have the option of doing digital art on the iPad, or always going back to the sketchbook. I love drawing in my sketchbook a lot. I use these little zebra pens. They're kind of cool, like little paintbrushes for ink, you know? And I'm sitting here drawing this character, I guess some kind of a medieval kid. And as I'm drawing, you're like, oh, this character could probably become the star of a show. Nickelodeon or Disney or Cartoon Network or whatever. Even on YouTube, you can make your own stuff. So it all starts with one drawing. And as I was drawing this guy, I wanted to make a video because I was reminded about being at Nickelodeon, and I had a situation happen years ago, about 6 years ago, I believe, when I was given a 4-pilot deal by Nickelodeon, where I was doing Fairly Odd Parents at the time and doing TUFF Puppy, and then they wanted to see 4 new ideas from me. So they gave me this 4-pilot deal. And the deal was 2 of the pilots had to be created solely by me, and 2 had to be created with other people. But I also wanted to be able to work with some great people for a long, long time too. Because like sometimes people come and go. If it's not their show, they get hired on another show and this and that. But if I was able to, I don't want to say the word trap, or if I was able to sell it, that'd mean I would be able to be guaranteed to work with them for a long time, as long as the show was going. So, but anyway, I had these 4 pilots I was working on at Nickelodeon. It was really cool. I started off by making a pilot that I created, and it was called the Buglys. It was about a family of bugs, and basically, imagine if you can a little world made of discarded human items. You know, like post office was a mailbox, a little mailbox, and like the shoe store was a shoe. Get it? The coffee house was a little coffee cup, stuff like that. You've seen this in Bugs Life and all this, but we wanted to make the backgrounds for the Buglys look a little bit different. We were using that concept of discarded human items, but we wanted it to be all done in photos. We were like, instead of drawing the backgrounds, we were finding photographs. Like the coffee house was like an actual photo of a coffee cup and stuff like that. So we had photos mixed with drawing, which was really cool, I thought. It was centered around a family called the Buglys, and it was Bernie Bugley was the dad. And he was a news reporter. He would report the news all over I think it was Bugsburg News, 10 o'clock. I was voiced by the great Jeff Bennett, who voiced Caswick on TUFF Puppy. And we had the mom named Barbie Bugley, who was a therapist. And she was very high-strung and just, you know, very smart, but very just, you know, just a really, I guess, a helicopter mom, very professional, voiced by the amazing Sherry O'Terry, who I later used in Bunsen as a beast.
Chicken in the bread pan, pack it out, Joe!
Buglys came before Bunsen. And the 2 kids in the show were Bobby Bugley, voiced by the amazing Ben Giroux, and Brittany Bugley, voiced by the awesome Renee Dorian. And had just a great time, and writing this episode, writing this show. Because when you do a pilot, you have to be real expository in your dialogue. What I mean by that is you're introducing the characters for the first time, so it's like, if you weren't my sister, I would, you know, that sort of thing. You've got to inform the audience the relationships. You know, Bobby, go get your sister, or gosh, for a therapist, you sure are, you know, and you need to say lines like that you wouldn't normally say in real life, only to tell the audience information about the characters. Anyway, the pilot was a lot of fun. It started off one way where Bobby's dad was a cop, but we ended up making Bernie a news reporter, because with a news reporter, you can have him help tell the story. And we're looking down now in the city of Bugsburg as the giant spider roams through town. You know, you can sort of narrate the show right along with the characters as they're acting out the show. So a news reporter is always a fun character to put in a show. But the pilot for the Buglys was just great. I loved it. We ended up making a color animatic, and I believe we had music and sound effects. It was just like watching the real episode. It was really, really cool. All right, so that was the Buglys, pilot number 1. That was a lot of fun. It really came out awesome, and I was really hoping Nickelodeon would pick that one up. But they didn't. No big deal. And the next pilot I worked on was a pilot called Night and Dave. I love that title. In fact, that entire concept came from me writing down that title on a Post-it. I just wrote it down one day, Night and Dave, and I thought that was just a funny name. And so I called Ray DeLaurentis and Will Schifrin in my office, and my friend Mike Doherty. Mike Doherty was one of our character designers on Fairly Odd Parents for many years, and on TUFF Puppy. He has an amazing Instagram account. Go follow him at Mr. Doughy, D-O-U-G-H-Y. Very cool Instagram account. But Mike had been coming to me with some ideas. I thought Mike would be really fun to work with, so I called him in too. So I had Ray DeLaurentis, Will Schifrin, and Mike Doherty in. I said, hey, I got this idea. It's called Night and Dave. What do you guys think? And so we all started just pitching ideas. It ended up being this really cool medieval story about a kid named Dave who pulls a golden spork out of a stone. No one else can pull it out. Dave pulls this spork out, and now he's got this golden spork, and he suddenly becomes the king of a town called Wonderspork. So he's the king of this amazing kingdom called Wonderspork. He just wants to make the place better and more wonderful, and he has this great assistant who works in the castle. Her name is Gwendolyn, and she's like an inventor, and she helps him invent all this cool stuff to help make the kingdom a better place. But there's a bad guy called Lord Smackover who was promised the kingdom after all these years, and he doesn't get it. Dave gets to be the king. So Smackover, of course, wants to destroy Dave at any cost, and so that's the story of Knight and Dave. Is Dave is just trying to be a good guy and run the kingdom, and Smackover is trying to destroy him with the help of his assistant magician guy named Dissiperio. Dissiperio is a magician dude who just hates Smackover and doesn't want to work with him at all. And we had a bunch of different designs for Dissiperio, and we had a bunch of different designs for Dave and Smackover, but I really loved working on this pilot particularly because I love medieval stuff and I love those type of sword and sorcery type of concepts, and it was really going to be cool. And again, just like the Buglys, we made an animatic of it. We didn't animate any of it. We actually did 2 versions of the pilot, and when I say 2 versions, there are actually about 300 versions because we had to keep rewriting the script so much. Because when you're developing something, the network will have you write it over and over again as notes come in and changes get made. It is a bit of a trying process. I challenge all of you out there, if you're a writer, don't get discouraged about having your stuff rewritten, because that's just part of the process. It's what you need to do. And believe it or not, in doing that process, you will become better at your craft. Sometimes it can get a little frustrating when you think something's perfectly right and perfectly great, and then the network wants to add this character in or this character, or you can't have a certain character because another show on the network has that character, so you have to change that character. So that can be a bit frustrating, but that was a lot of fun too, doing Knight and Dave. So now I come to my 3rd pilot, and that's a pilot I've never talked about before. And I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm sorry. It's a very cool pilot that I think you'll love when you eventually see it. Only because I've never talked about it on my podcast or even this channel, and I kind of want to keep this one under wraps a little bit. It does involve 2 other really good friends of mine that created it with me. It was a pilot that was one of the ones that I created with other people. It involves a kid, and there you go. Hey, that narrows it down. I think you really like it. In fact, I might want to do a special video on it, and I might want to have them on to talk about it with me. So we worked just as hard on that one as the first 2. You're talking months and months, almost a year and a half of work on that, while I'm doing Fairly Odd Parents, while I'm doing TUFF Puppy, and these other 2 pilots. Working on this 3rd one was just as time consuming, and we put just as much effort into it, and it's a great idea, and I think you're really gonna like it when I eventually get around to telling you. So pilot number 3, you'll hear about it eventually. It was fortuitous that the 4th pilot that rolled around was Bunsen. Bunsen is a Beast. It was my 4th one. And I think by that time, the execs at Nickelodeon were kind of tired of dealing with my pilots. So I think they kind of left me more alone on that one. And Bunsen had the fewest amount of notes. I think they were just like, look, let's let him do it. Let's see what happens. And they let me do Bunsen. And ironically, that's the one that ended up getting picked up as a series. So Bunsen is a Beast came out of that 4-pilot deal. I wanted all 4 pilots to look different from each other. And I think when you see them all together, except for the 3rd one, that's shit. But when you see them all together, they all do look very, very different. And that's one of the challenges too. If you are out there making cartoon ideas, or like a comic strip, or if you're into doing just dozens of awesome things all the time, see if you can do different styles. See if you can try things in a different way that you maybe never thought of, because it's just going to expand your horizons and make you a better creator and a better storyteller and a better artist all around. Just challenging yourself at all times makes you better. So yeah, so there were my 4 pilots. It was a blast to do them. I definitely want to show them here on the channel eventually. The actual animatics, I'll show those, but for now, hope you guys liked all the artwork we showed you. But it was really, really cool to work on that stuff with some great people. 2 I created on my own. That was Buglys and Bunsen. And then Knight and Dave and Mystery Pilot number 3. Were created with other people. So those chances might roll around for you someday too. And remember, what if I'd done the same pilot 4 different times? That I don't think anyone would have taken them seriously at all. So again, that's where you have to challenge yourself. How can this one be different from the other one? Just remember that as you're moving forward in your amazing art career. All right, thanks so much for watching. This has been Confessions of a Nicktoon Creator, and I confess, I thought a lot of those other pilots were going to go, and one of them did, so that's pretty cool. But hey, I got great memories of the other 3. And we still might even do them someday. You never know. You just might see them here or on some other form of entertainment. You never know. All right, guys, I will see you later. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us when you do that. And as always, art gives you power. Use it wisely.
Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the NOOG Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.